What's going on, guys? In this video, I wanted to talk a little bit more about my personal experience attending the 2017 Vizient and ASHP Midyear meeting. So I really want to share some of my experiences at Midyear. This was probably one of the more enjoyable Midyear experiences I've had, and I've been attending Midyear since 2011, for like the last 6 years. Since I was a student. So I wanted to share a couple of reasons why. The first of which, it might sound a little nerdy. One of the first reasons why it was enjoyable, and it might sound a little nerdy, was because there was a lot of fantastic CE sessions. I think the theme of last year was like probably antimicrobial stewardship. It was like all over the board, which was fantastic. This year, and maybe I'm biased because I mainly attended these kind of sessions, but this year, I thought I saw a couple of themes that were notable. So there were like the future of the 340B program. There was like rising drug costs, unsustainability of the U.S. healthcare system, and then like drug shortages. Those are like really hot topics throughout the Vizient and ASHP Midyear conference. And I think as pharmacists, it's really important that we're knowledgeable on these kind of topics. We stay on top of them, keep monitoring these kind of trends so we can better, educate ourselves and then come up with solutions and how we can make it better. Especially because a lot of these relate to drugs. I think it's also really important that we help drive or spearhead the solutions to these kind of problems. So there's a lot of topics. This video isn't really about that, so I'm not gonna go into details, but I will say that there are two things I would highly recommend all of you guys, students, residents, pharmacists, whoever you may be, to really check out to, really educate yourself on these issues. So the first of which was some of the publications from Health Affairs. There was a keynote speaker at Vizient. I cannot remember the dude's name, but he gave a fantastic keynote presentation at Vizient. Many of the data or things he talked about came directly from Health Affairs. I think he was some of the authors, or he was one of the authors on there, but a lot of great content in there. So check it out. Talked a lot about 340B, prescription drug prices, R&D, a lot of great stuff. But check that out, educate yourself. And then the other thing was like the Pharmacy Forecast 2018. So I attended a session where they talked about a lot of things. Basically, they covered all the different topics in Pharmacy Forecast 2018. I just finished reading it. One of the things I wanted to highlight was like in the 2017 forecast, they talked about what the U.S. healthcare system would be like with a Hillary or Trump presidency. And then in the 2018, now that Trump, the current administration is a Trump administration, there is an entire section that talks about what will our healthcare system look like given the current administration. So fantastic topic, certainly very interesting to read about and important to learn about. And at some point when I'm not lazy, I'll probably do a video that covers some of the highlights of the Pharmacy Forecast 2018. I cannot stress enough how important it is that we as pharmacists stay on top of these topics. So definitely check that stuff out. Another thing that was really cool about the conference was YouTube, and all relates to kind of YouTube. And the first thing was like, I started a YouTube channel about a year ago. I came to this conference really to collect a lot of footage of Midyear. And so I went around the conference collecting footage from like key events. So some of the content that I shot included like the chaotic residency showcase. There's like a ton of people there trying to talk to all these various residency programs. Lots of people, let's just put it that way, a lot of people. And then there's like the PPS booth where you meet with programs one-on-one, schedule these 30-minute interviews, and it's less chaotic. It's just a ton of booths and a great place to just go and chat. I usually go around to the different booths, grab their swag and eat their chocolates, which is also something else you can do. Walk around, they have a lot of free stuff to give away. And then the poster presentations. If you're a student or a resident, you usually have to present a poster. And this is the place where you do it. There's a lot of people at these poster presentations. So this is just kind of giving you a feel of what that's like. And then the exhibit hall. The exhibit hall is fantastic. It might sound boring. I like it, and I think a lot of administration folks probably like it because You get to look at the vendors, see what kind of things they have coming out. I like to look at the robotics and the various software vendors to see what kind of things they have cooking. But the more important thing for students and residents is the free stuff. I remember getting like bags and bags of free stuff during the first couple of mid-years I attended. I don't do that as much anymore because it's a lot to carry back. But what's important to highlight here is there's a lot of free food. Mid-year is super expensive, and if you can save money, the exhibit hall has a wide range of coffee that you can probably hit up. Like there's like brewed coffee, there's like cappuccino, very nice coffee in general. But there's like a variety of coffee you can get there for free. And then there's like snacks and food that you can just go around to different booths and gather. Granted, it's a hit or miss. It just depends on what types of free stuff the vendors offer that year. But they almost always have coffee. So that's the most important thing any student or resident needs. So definitely hit up the exhibit hall for that. All right, so something else that was awesome about YouTube was like I got my 500th subscriber, crazy to think about, right before mid-year, and her name is Hetty, and I actually got to meet up with her at mid-year, which was really cool. She is a P4 student applying for residency, so I wish her the best of luck as she goes into the residency interview season, which is coming up in January and February and March. So best of luck to her as she goes into that. On top of that, it was really cool to like just get recognized at mid-year. So a lot of people came up to me and was saying, "Hey, I watch your videos," and I was like, "That's pretty awesome." But even cooler than that, I got to see my friend Corrine get recognized. So if you guys haven't watched videos with her, she is also a PGY2 trained informatics pharmacist, and she has been featured on some of my videos in the past. And I was there a couple times in different situations where I saw people come up to her and was like, "Hey, it's Corrine," and it was just a really cool feeling, And I was talking to her afterwards too. She said that on various occasions throughout the mid-year conference, people came up to her and was like, she got recognized, and that's a really cool thing to see. I didn't see it, but it's a really cool thing in general. Going on to like the third reason, kind of why mid-year was very enjoyable for me. Actually, maybe enjoyable is not the right word here. Why mid-year was slightly miserable for me was because I presented at the conference. So it was more stressful than anything. So this is my first time presenting at a national conference, certainly a major milestone in my career. And I like to use the phrase like fake it till you make it, because I'm pretty sure if I applied to present, I would not have been accepted. The only reason I think I did is because I kind of tagged along with my co-presenters who have a lot of awesome experience. So they're like, "Oh yeah, they are awesome. We're gonna get them on," and then they saw me and they just kind of tagged me on there. I think that's the only reason I was able to present. So super thankful for the opportunity. It was an awesome but stressful experience. And I want to say a couple things. Even though it was a fantastic experience, it was stressful enough to the point where I'm not sure if I would do it again. Not that it's bad, but there was a ton of prep that I had to put into it. So like you submit your presentation or submit your interest to present in February of that year. So that's 10 months in advance. So you gotta get some things queued up, do a little bit of work, put that in there and submit it. And then after you get notified, I think it was like in March or April, then you begin like putting together your slides, putting together your presentations, you meet up with your co-presenters, and you gotta work out all the logistics. And there was just a ton of work that was put in to do the presentation. So I might want to do it again. I don't know. It's just something that I'm considering. It's just something I need to consider again if I do want to do it again. That it was a lot of work. With that being said, the day of the presentation was super scary. I was nervous. I've done a lot of presentations before. My largest is probably like 300 to 350, and I've given, I don't know, maybe over like a couple hundred presentations. But no matter, at least for me, no matter if it's your first presentation or your 1000th presentation, I always get nervous. And so right before I presented. I was the last one to go out of my co-presenters. I was freaking out. My heart rate was just like through the roof. I was like, I need a beta blocker. I need a beta blocker. But, you know, I got called. I remember I was going up to the stage. And afterwards, you know, a lot of my friends said I didn't seem nervous. But I'm glad it wasn't noticeable because my foot was just like shaking. I was nervous, super nervous, and glad no one saw. But, you know, after the first 1 to 2 minutes, I got into the swing of things and it wasn't as bad afterwards. I think I was kind of nervous also because I'm kind of a goofy guy. At least I think I am. And I inserted jokes throughout. And in the very beginning of my presentation, right before I started, I inserted a joke that I always like to use when it's like a new audience. And I was a little worried that it might not work because, you know, you just get nervous sometimes. But I threw out the punchline. There was like a split second of like silence, and then I heard the audience laugh. And I think that was like probably the biggest win, that they laughed at my joke. That was like super awesome. But big thank you to everyone that came to watch the presentation or listen in. Something really cool also about the presentation was Lori, my first informatics mentor during my PGY1, was in attendance, and she snapped a picture of me right before my presentation. She is fantastic. I learned a lot of my skills from her. So I certainly owe a lot of my success in my career to Lori. So that was fantastic. I was very glad I got to see her. I have not seen her in years. And lastly, what made it enjoyable as usual for any mid-year, and I guess you know, everyone can relate, you go to mid-year and you see like all your friends that you haven't seen for a long time. So I was able to just kick it with some old friends, meet up with them.
There you go. What to eat first? Well, I guess yeah.
We had to go to Rocco's Tacos, got some fresh guac, got some yummy tacos to eat. That was really good. And then we went to, I cannot pronounce this name, so don't hate me for it, Gayu Kaku. Sounds like caca. But Gayu Kaku, I think that's what it's called.
So where are you going, Kareem?
No, I didn't worry.
I was gonna say. Is that your salad? Yeah. Your salad.
Yeah.
Right here.
There you go.
There you go.
Chef Susan and Chef Green. Chef Green cooked our whole meal tonight. Chef Green.
All I've been doing is eating. I haven't done an ounce of cooking.
Welcome back.
Like they don't even ask you anymore. Like,
Bye, Sue.
To get some Japanese barbecue with some of my other friends. That was really good. That was really tasty, by the way. And I was like, I remember I went to one of these barbecue places in Texas just to get the Lady M green tea cake.
Oh man, I screwed it up, you guys. I screwed it up.
Right there. It's a very yummy cake. It's very expensive. It's like $12 for that one little slice. And it was just a really good time. Catch up, talk about adulting, you know, investment accounts, all that kind of interesting conversation. So that's kind of it, guys. I hope you enjoyed listening, and until next time, guys. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and watching the video. If you like the content, definitely hit the ImproRx button over to your left to subscribe, and definitely check out more videos over here to your right. Now, as always, if you have questions, comments, and even better, suggestions for future videos, definitely let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, until next time, guys.